Okay, this will be a short video on how to set up a app that I currently have deployed on Heroku and move it to render. It'll be a short video, and basically the app is a Node.js app that has a Postgres database and is set up with Redis as well for caching. So we want to see whenever we call our database where we're getting it from, the source, whether that's the database or from the cache, and then we have a get route for that, and then we have a post route to clear the cache. So the goal of this is just to go over again how to take a service I have on Heroku that uses a few features like a database and Redis and move it to render. So to get started, you'll need GitHub, and we'll go here. I already have set up here with my GitHub, so when I sign in, click GitHub, and it'll take me to my dashboard. So you should have something similar to this. So what you want to do is to set up your web service, you'll want to click new, so whatever the web service is, whatever app. So mine is going to be this Redis Postgres demo, but you would come here to web service. It's going to load all your GitHub repositories, and you want to click on the repository you want to connect as your web service here to render. So like I said, I already have mine connected here, this Redis Postgres demo. So if we click this, it'll take us to our dashboard. So the only thing that we're really concerned with here is this environment setting, but before we get to that, we need to also configure Postgres. So if we come here, Render provides Postgres for you. So if you click Postgres, give it a name, it'll randomly generate your database and your username, and then just click free for everything for now. If you're just trying to go through the motions of this, and click create database. So again, here, that's this one for me. So for countries, I can come here, and here's all the information for my database. And then we'll come back here. To set up Redis, all we need to do is click Redis, and this is relatively new from Render. I think it's probably within the last couple of weeks or a month or so that Redis has been available. I could be wrong, but you want to give it a name. Also select 0 because we're just testing this out. Click create Redis down here, and then go back to your dashboard again, and then click Redis Postgres demo, or whatever your app name is, and then in your environment you're going to want to set these environment variables. Now, database URL in my Node application, it's looking for an environment variable named database URL. So whatever your application environment variables are set as for your database and Redis, you want to provide those environment variables here. Node env, this is also for my little application. In my developer environment, I have it set to development, and here it's set to production. So that's just so that it knows when to call certain environment variables or when to provide certain values and not. So, and then this one is something purely for demonstration purposes. I didn't want to set up SSL certificates and that type of thing for this small app. So you just set this to 0, and it's kind of like an off switch, so that it's not, otherwise it'll stop your app from deploying, and you'll have to figure out how to set up SSL certificates. So just for this small thing, I wanted to set this one so that we can see how this works. So the value for database URL, if you go back to your dashboard, go to your database, once it's set up, you'll want to copy this internal connection string, because all of your everything is hosted right here in Render, so it's internally connected. So grab your internal connection string and like this value, and then go back to your environment and set it here on database URL. And then you will also want to go to Redis and do the same thing. So grab your internal connection string, go to dashboard, go back to your application environment, and then set that here as your Redis URL value. And if everything is set up correctly, once all of these are set, it will deploy your app again, and then it should work as expected. So this is, I'm going to use curl commands in a second, but the goal again is simply to do a get command, command to get the countries and see what the source is, whether they're from the database or the cache, and then use a post request. Yeah, I should say get request, not so a get request and then a post request to the URL and this URL slash clear cache, and then once we do a get request again, we'll see that it comes from the database. So here I'm just going to pull up my terminal, and I have not that one, I have this app here. So if we go to our README, let's do just curl. So curl -x get, and then we want to grab whatever our URL is, paste it here, and do countries. Enter. All right, so we got a list of our countries, and so I've done this before, so currently they're coming from the cache, so we'll want to now do a curl x post, paste this here, and then do clear cache, and I should just get an OK in response. There we go. So then if I do this first one again, get, we will see that it came from the database. So this is how you simply just take. I had this app running on Heroku with Heroku Postgres and Heroku Redis, and move it over to render. It took about probably total of 10 minutes to move everything over.